Going on? What's going on? We are back. Man, we need to talk about Rosario, man. Really need to get into Rosario and his capabilities and what he can do. Some people have this assumption that, uh, Charlo's going to be able to just go up in there, touch him up, and it's going to be able to put him down. And I don't think a lot of people necessarily understand how skilled this guy really is. I know a lot of guys might say, "Hey, well, he got knocked out by this dude because he did get knocked out." Um, but with boxing, it's crazy. You got to be very careful when it comes to things like that because even before the J Rock fight, what I always like to say, especially when it comes to the PBC, is that just because the fighters look a particular type of way, when you've seen him fight other guys, when it's a PBC fight, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's gonna be that way when he fights you. Just due to the fact that a lot of these guys, when it comes to like a lot of these promoters, they'll grab them up a couple of days notice, 1 week notice, 2 week notice, 2, 3 days notice. A lot of them usually they're not given like money like that, so they're not able to necessarily train like that. They already have they have their regular job or whatever it is, and they kind of just gotta do what it do, to make it in that particular situation, and then this guy knocks this guy out or beats this guy up, and it's like, wow, look what he did to this undefeated guy. Not understanding that this guy has a full-time job. This guy hasn't fought in like a year and a half. They call this dude up 2 weeks before the fight. All of a sudden, he had to drop all his weight to make the fight. They don't understand things like that. Now, like Rosario, in most of his fights, he never necessarily had the opportunity to really have a full camp, a really true professional camp. And if you're cutting weight real fast and things of that nature, yeah, your chin, somebody could blow on you, you'll get touched real easy and you'll get flatlined real quick. But for the J Rock fight, he got paid good for that fight. So he was able to come down from the Dominican Republic all the way to the United States months ahead of the fight. He didn't have to worry about his family, he didn't have to worry about his wife, his kids, nothing. He was able to just fully focus on the sport. And that's what he did. He got top of the line training in Miami. You know, um, Everything was provided for him as far as his living situation, his food, everything. All he had to do was focus on boxing. He was able to cut correctly, everything, and then we saw the results. With what he was able to do. And he took some heavy shots in that fight. Against J Rock, and he was able to eat them. So, and we all know, Charlo he's got heavy hands. So he definitely can't do something to you. But people shouldn't just necessarily make the assumption that this guy gets touched and all of a sudden he's just going to crumble up. That might not be the case. You might really have to break this guy down. The guy has good movement. Most of the time he keeps that right hand up to keep from getting hit from with the left. He is susceptible to the jab, with the jab sometimes, with the right jab. He is susceptible to that sometimes. But he has a great jab himself. He knows how to vary everything, going to the body, going up top. He's not necessarily just some kind of headhunter. He's not somebody that's just up and just kind of trotting forward. You know what I mean? Where he gets hit, he gets hit. He's just trying to trade. It's really not that type of time. Like, he does put pressure on you. He does push the pace, but he does it in a very intelligent manner, though. He's throwing out the jabs, throwing out the jabs. He'll throw the hook up top, throw it with the right. He'll throw the left hook, the right hook up top. He'll go to the body, to the left, to the right. Jab in the middle. You know what I mean? Come up with the uppercut to the middle. Come up with the uppercut in general. He varies what he does. So on the offensive side, yes, he does have a lot of talent. And him pushing forward the way that he does is also kind of like a way of that defense too, because it kind of keeps you off balance as well. And the biggest thing is he's a big mother effer. He's huge. You see him, he's cutting down, his face is all sunken in. You can see his bones, you know what I mean? You can wash clothes off his bones right now if you wanted to, And once he weighs in on Friday and he's able to rehydrate, he's gonna get big. Ooh, I don't know. That depends. Yeah, and then because the IBFs are also involved, where usually you have to, the cap is at 15 pounds the next day, but in unifications, they did away with that after the Jacobs fight against Gennady Golovkin, because Jacobs said F that ish, and he just let himself hydrate. You know what I mean? So that IBF wasn't even on the line when he fought Gennady Golovkin. So, you know what I mean? So, you know, you got to take that into consideration as well. This is going to be a big dude. This might be the biggest dude that Charlo's had to face so far in his career. You know, and we're gonna see how durable he is as well. But he definitely does bring things to the table. Charlo, sometimes when he's trying to tear somebody's head off, sometimes he leaves himself open 2 shots. You know, where we've seen Harrison, you know, clip him and catch him with shots. If Rosario catches him with those heavy hands, what's that gonna look like? That could be a problem. You know what I mean? They both have a lot of positives in their game, but they both also have, you know, negatives in their game as well. It's not just Rosario. There's a lot of things that Rosario can take advantage of. You know, it's just, is he going to be able to take advantage of it? Because we also know, you know, Charlo's a crazy counter puncher. Them punches come fast and rapid, and he could catch you. You know, and they always say that, you know, the punch that usually knocks you out is the one that you don't see coming. And he's a beast when it comes to that. But this is not going to be no easy task. This is not going to be a thing where he just runs through Rosario. It's not that type of time. You know, this is going to be a hard fought. If he gets these 2 belts, it's going to be hard fought. There's going to be nothing easy about it. You know, so look at the J-Rock fight. Just go look at the J-Rock fight and go see the things that he's able to do. But don't get too enamored in the fact that he got knocked out or whatever, you know, on a previous bout. Don't get enamored by none of that stuff, because there's other, you know, there's circumstances, you know, that could be the reasons for that, you know. Like I said, because it's the boxing game. It's a grimy game, man. It's dirty. It's a dirty ass game. They'll see that guy right there that's having issues. He's not coming to the gym as much. He's having issues with his wife or with this, or he's lost his job and he's stressed out. You know, the weight's up, or just coming off an injury, but he has a nice little record. They're like, yeah, grab him. 2 weeks. Let's give him 2 weeks, so let's give him 1 week. That type of thing. They do people dirty like that all the time, you know? But PBC, for the most part, they're usually good with fighters, you know? So that's why, like, whenever there's a PBC fight and they say, oh, this guy, you know, they grab, like, with what's his name? With the other fight that we had the other night. You know, damn, what's his name? Oh, my gosh. I forget his name. I forget the goddamn dude's name. He had fought the guy who had just lost to Gary Russell Jr. I'm not even going to look it up. We're going to keep the video going. You know, the guy that he faced, you know, in his comeback fight back. And this guy was game. And if it wasn't for this, you know, him getting knocked down those 2 damn times, he would have won the fight. You know, he just messed up when it came to that, but everything else, he was on point. Because PBC will give you what you need. You know, they'll make sure that you're good, that you are prepared for your bout. They won't necessarily do you dirty, you know. And if he didn't mess up in those 1-2 spots, he would have won the fight. You know, so you gotta be always real careful when it comes to those PBC fights. You know, you're not necessarily gonna get what you think. You know, you can't come in there comfortable. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be good with this dude. He's nothing. All right. Okay. You know, but I can't wait for this fight. It's kind of funny how, you know, some media people are trying to trash the fights. It's weird. They're trashing this fight. They're trashing the Derevyanchenko fight as well. They're trashing both the Jermell and the Jamal fight. And at the same time, they're saying Jermell and Jamal could lose these fights. And some of them are actually picking Jermell and Jamal to lose these particular fights. But somehow it's trash and it's not worth pay-per-view at the same time. It's weird. But anyway, we'll see. Can't wait for Saturday. Put that money up, man. Pay for the pay-per-views. Support the sport. This is the biggest card all year. If you're a boxing fan, you know this is a big card. You know, they got some names up in there. And if this ain't worth your pay-per-view money, I don't know what is, to be honest. You know, I don't know what else would be. But it's one of those nights where you don't know what's going to happen, though. You know, both Charlos could win. Both Charlos could lose. One could win, one could lose. There's a whole bunch of different variables that kind of thrown into, you know, through the whole thing. You know, and that's what makes a great night of boxing, where you're going into it and you really don't know what's going to happen. But put respect on Rosario's name, man, because he's a beast, you know, and he's coming to fight. And he's trying to take all 3 of them belts back to the Dominican Republic and get that fat check. But for now, like, subscribe, share. I'm out.